Hello, hello, hello. Hey, everybody. How are y'all doing out there? I hope everybody's good. I have missed you guys so much. Oh, Borrowed, thanks for stopping by. Sinuses have got me, girls. But I am doing so much better, I guess. I want to say better, but still can't use my arm very well. But oh, I'm healing up though. I don't know if you can see, but there's an incision. There's one. There's one. There's one. And there's a tiny one right there that is already healed up. So that is all I can lift my arm. Look at my fat. But that's it. That's as far as I can go. But oh, I tell you, it has been a long road, and I don't ever want to be on this road again. I want to hurry and detour and get off of this road. It is really hard. It's been a struggle. Not only the pain, because when you have 7 bones that are broke, and it was all from here to here that broke in that area, and I can move my arm around and just barely move it, try to use it a little bit, stretch it out. I still feel one place, which is about right in here, where I can still feel the bone move a little bit. So it's better than what it was, but I'm still not there yet. And I tell you, it has really had me depressed. There's several times I wanted to come live and talk to you guys, but I would have probably just made y'all sad because I was so sad. Just blah, depressed. What do? You can't get up and do nothing, can't clean your house, I can't even fix my hair. This is what I got. No makeup, but it is what it is. And I'm trying to do better, and I've come to the conclusion that I'm way better than what I was when it first happened. So I am slowly, baby steps, getting there. But thank you guys. Oh, thanks, Borrowed. I don't feel I don't feel it too much, but my hair is driving me crazy. I need a haircut so bad, but I know I can't go and lean back in a shampoo bowl, and so I still hold my arm when I walk, and I still have some swelling in this area right here, but it's not the whole thing. So I have to think positive. I've had to change my way of thinking and really pull myself up. But I have really missed you guys. I've missed talking with y'all, and I haven't been able to chat too much. I got a nerve that's messed up in my hand. So one day my fingers will work okay. Some days they won't. So it's just really hard to chat, but I'm doing better. I've been working on them, and hopefully when I go back next Thursday to the doctor, I'll be able to start therapy, and maybe I'll be able to raise my hand more than a fourth of a way. But I hope everybody else has been doing good. I've just been laid back listening, and probably keep saying it because when you think it can't get any worse, it does. Lord have mercy. The streets are very crowded with a lot of crap. And I can't believe some of the stuff that I'm hearing out there. And it's crazy. Crazy. You know, it doesn't matter what side you're on, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with the creator. When stuff is being said and language is being used that's so vulgar and hateful that it just blows my mind, because this is a little girl we're all here talking about. And that language should never be used. I know I've used some bad language, and I do apologize for it. But some of the words, Lordy. Hey, Sammy, thanks for listening. Hope you're good. But, yeah, Annabella makes you want to get baptized again. For sure. It is crazy. Sorry, I mute my phone, but it still does my alerts, and it's driving me insane. But yeah, it's just, I don't understand it. Yes, girl, they do make you want to. Oh, I turned off YouTube one night just a couple nights ago, and I was just like, God, please forgive me for even listening to that, hearing those words. And, you know, of course, there's a certain creator that calls herself Summer's Channel, and the language that came out the other day by someone that was on her panel just made me ill. And I was like, oh my God, is this what we've come to? Is this what it is? I mean, is this where Summer's case is? Super sad. Super, super sad. And I don't know how anybody could be prideful in how they are trying to help find a little girl. It makes no sense to me. But that's not the way I was raised. That's not the way I raised my children. And hopefully I can hold up a lot better than that and be better, because that's what I want. I want to be better than that. I want to be a channel that I'm proud of. And, you know, I've been laid up, I've been listening, and kind of went back from the beginning and started really going over a lot at the very beginning and trying to see what, you know, we have a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge that we have in this case. We know a lot of things. And I was hoping that maybe knowing what I know now, oh no, that's horrible. But knowing what we know now, you know, what could I have missed? Is there anything I've overlooked? Is there something that maybe I need to pay attention to? And you know, I got to thinking that even though we all have different opinions as far as the parents go, and you know, we got those that believe that they're guilty, those that believe they're not guilty, and we got those that are not going to accuse either way because there's no evidence, nothing of proof. But here lately, all of everybody's whole center of their show, yes, Annabella, That's where it was, for sure. It was disgusting. Oh, it was horrible. But everybody can't get off of the topic of the mom and dad right now, and I understand a lot of people think they're guilty and feel very strongly about that. But is that keeping us, whether we're against them or for them, is it keeping us locked up in this little box to where we're not thinking outside that box? So I was trying really hard the other night to kind of go at a different angle with everything. And I got to thinking about it. So I went back and I listened. And Summer Scent goes down the dog trail. When it gets to the driveway and where the driveway meets the road, it stops. It's just gone. So for me, that's only one thing that can mean. Someone picked her up. Whether they picked her up and carried her off, whether they put her in a car, on a horse, on a motorcycle, ATV, something, someone took her from that spot. If that's where that trail led and it stopped right there, that's it's got to be there. It's got to be that someone picked her up and took her from there. So then I got to thinking about it, that we got footprints. We know there's footprints at Fred Hills. We know there's footprints on the ridge. We know there's footprints by right off of Beach Creek. And if we have those footprints, which they were found a couple of days later, makes you think she was still in the area. So I really don't, in my mind, I don't think she was taken off. I don't think she was taken out of state or out of town. I think she was kept in that area. So they searched, but they only searched so far out away from the parents' house. And they searched the grounds, the fields, the yards. They walked all through there. Guys, what if she was in one of those houses that was close there? What if she was being held in one of those houses? And what if she heard? What if she heard people calling her name? I don't know. It just makes me think, if she was held somewhere there, then a couple of days later they find her footprints. Was that done on purpose? Was that a distraction? Or were they moving her around? I don't know. I think if we all kind of go back over things with the knowledge that we have now, I think maybe we can find little pieces here and there. And I always keep going back to the beginning, because there's something we're not getting. We're missing so much right there. And I keep going back, trying to find it, trying to listen, trying to keep an open mind, and trying to think. But whoever took her from that spot, picked her up and took her off. But she was in that area just a couple days later when the footprints came up. or were found. So if you go back and you listen, I encourage everybody to not take anything as irrelevant. Don't take anything as that's just the neighbor blowing smoke off of, what. I honestly believe this woman has something to say. I honestly do. She knows. Even today on her live, she made a comment that maybe it's time for Candace to start leaking and do it fast. Yeah, Sammy, no evidence that she was trafficked out of the area, according to LE. You're right. And I don't see it. I don't see any signs of that because it shows her being there. Whether she's still in the area, I don't know. I don't know how she could be this long, but I don't know that she is actually still with us. But I do know that people know. Fred said in his text to Ziggy, if y'all didn't hear it the other day, maybe go back and listen to the first part of Ziggy's where, hey, Landon, thanks for coming over, bud. But she gets text messages from Fred, and he said he knows about the day she came up missing. He knows things. Whether we believe him or not, I don't know. The neighbor said a while ago on her live that it's easy to have 7 alibis when someone else is doing the work for you. And that struck me kind of odd because she's implicating Don and him being the mastermind of what happened to Summer, but somebody else did the job for him. So, does she know something? Do we believe her? That's the horrible part of this. At this point, I don't even know who to trust with information. I don't know that anybody is telling the truth. It's hard to say. Hey, Flies. Good to see you. It makes me sick to think about. Sorry, came in late and rewound it. Thanks for being here. But yeah, no evidence she was taken out of the area and trafficked. But there is evidence she was there days later in the area. Because her scent was at Fred Hills. Her footprints on a ridge. Her footprint is right by Beech Creek Road, right off the road, down from that ridge. And I keep, in my mind, going back to this generational thing of SA in that area. And it seems to be a generational type of thing. And I think everybody knows about it and everybody covers up for each other. And I honestly believe that whole area, or about 80% of them, know exactly what happened. And nobody's saying anything. But, could it be the parents? Could Dawn have orchestrated something and set it up and had Candace, when she got home, call her and say, hey, you need to go here? And she leaves and goes out of the area. And then somebody takes Summer from there. I don't know, but it's possible. And, I think, I was thinking it myself, and I even have a little note written down. And then I think it was Nature Lover made a post about Jody Sue being so mad that we might find out something. And guys, after she heard call her a total nutcase, she got mad. She started bringing things out. And maybe that's what we got to do. Maybe we need to poke the bear. I don't know. I'm getting tired. So tired of not knowing where this baby's at. Who did what? Who's involved? And maybe Hawkins County doesn't have enough space for all those that are involved. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm so tired of everybody trying, because I know every person on here on YouTube that has a channel that speaks about Summer, they want her to be found. They want to know what happened to her. Everybody has a heart. Everybody, I believe, cares about finding this little girl. Or at least they started that way. And then time rocks on. Here we have everybody talking about this and that and bringing up stuff, and I was listening the other night on the Farm Channel, and somebody came up on panel and starts talking about Candace's first daughter, her older daughter in her past. That's not for us. Even Chasing Tracy Ann came up and she said, this is not our story to tell. That is hers. But that's where people are going, because there's nothing else. And how can a 5-year-old little girl just vanish with nothing? Nothing. People know. Someone knows. And we've got to do our due diligence to try to find as close as we can to who that is. We got to keep going. We have so much knowledge and we have so much heart involved in this that I just wanted to come on and talk to everybody and just, more than anything, encourage you to not stop. Don't let anyone discourage you, because Summer needs us more now than ever, because at the beginning everybody was for her. Everybody was all about finding her. Everybody was on task. Everybody was thinking. Everybody was trying. Everybody was looking stuff up. Now it's like, oh, I heard this. And I'm just like, what? Because the girl on Daisy's panel the other night, she said she's been talking to Candace's oldest daughter for a while now, and others had too. And then when they started questioning her, it was, no, I don't talk to her. That's not what I said. And then it was, well, I got text messages and she reads them off. And they're like, so you're texting her? No, I didn't say I texted her. I'm just like, oh my gosh, make it stop. It was insane. Insane. And, I look up to Chasing, and the way she handles things when people will do that is so cool. She has such a good heart. She can remain calm. She can ask questions. She can put stuff out there. And it doesn't have to be yelling and screaming and cussing. But oh my gosh, at the yelling, screaming, and cussing that's going on. And it's insane. And it makes me so mad. And then it makes me so sad. And I just don't get it. We are grown people, and they're calling each other names and making things up and using, if there's nothing about summer, then they're going to take something another creator said and turn it into something that's really big. It's like, oh my goodness, this is insane. Just if you don't have nothing to talk about summer, then talk about something else. We don't have to talk about each other. We need to stay strong. We need to support each other. We need to keep going and encourage each other. Because if we don't, and we all keep dropping off because of the insanity of what's going on, who's going to be left? Those that cuss, those who can't talk to anybody else without total disgust. It's horrible. We can't let that happen, guys. Y'all stay strong and don't let people discourage you. But keep going back and looking and listening again and finding new things and going over anything that you ever questioned. Go over it again. Look into it. Just so we can stay on track. Just so that we can keep going. And as far as I go, I'm going to listen to what Fred Hill has to say. I'm going to make notes of it. I'm going to consider it, but I'm not going to take it as 100%. Same thing with the neighbor. She was so mad at Dawn a while ago that she starts encouraging Candace to start talking. She talks about his alibi. So was that her just being pissed off like she did Andy when, he was talking on a live and it made her mad and she starts accusing him of selling drugs to the kids at 110? Do we trust him? Do we not trust him? At this point, we have to consider. We have to stop and think. Could that be real? Could it not be real? If it is, does that check off a box? Does that fit a piece of the puzzle in? So, I don't know. It's so discouraging. But I don't want to get discouraged. I want us to keep going, guys. And I thank y'all for always being here for me and letting me rant and rave and talk. And I love you all so much. And it's so good to be back. I am so blessed. I want to start growing my channel. So I might start coming on a lot more. And maybe just do some chit-chatting or something, but always try to keep it on the straight and narrow. I don't want to throw anything out that's not true, so we'll just talk about stuff sometimes. But we'll hopefully be connecting up a lot more. I want my channel to grow. I'm proud of my channel, and I've been thinking a lot about it. So I'm going to put Oh, sorry. I'm trying to use my hand. Hang on. I'm going to put the link out here. And if anybody wants to come up, you're welcome to come up and chit chat. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But I just encourage you guys to listen with an open mind and know when a creator is at the end of their rope. Know when a creator is stressed to the max and just starting to throw stuff out and they're frustrated and they're mad and they're angry. At that moment, don't hold those things against them. We all get there. We all get so mad that we just explode. So always just kind of keep that in mind when you're listening. And on a side note, everybody keep Miss Annabella in your prayers. She is going to have to go into the hospital for a little bit. I hope you don't mind me telling everybody. But she's got a procedure to do. So y'all keep her in your prayers in these coming days. We want her to be well and healthy. So, and keep Miss Crystal in your prayer today. I know today would have been one of her boys' birthdays. He would have been 22. So, one of her little ones that she lost. You know, we could all use prayers. I tell you what, the last couple of weeks, whew, I was getting pretty down in the dumps. And this week, my granddaughter, my youngest granddaughter, she is 5. And her mother put Kids Messenger on her tablet. And I get calls regular, video chats, video chats, video chats. She will call me just to tell me who she just talked to. And then she'll have to hang up because she has to go check her messages. She calls me after school every day. She calls me in the morning before she goes to school. And that little one don't know how much that meant to me. So I am very proud of, yeah, Annabella, you come up if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I understand a lot of people don't want to come up. And that's okay too. But yeah, come on if you want to. I tell you, life is a struggle. Life is a struggle for sure. And some days I don't even know. I mean, there for a while I got to where I would just wake up and start counting the time till I had to go to bed, till I could go to sleep, till it was late enough for me to go to sleep. But I'm not taking any pain pills anymore, so that is good. And that's something that's really made me a lot happier, I think. But I I just stretch and work my hand. I can raise the bottom part of my hand. I can move it real good, but this part here doesn't move any more than right there. So that's it for me. That's why my hair looks like it does. I get out of the shower, I shake it up. This is it. So, anybody heard any good stuff going on? Did y'all watch the neighbors live today? She did. I really think y'all should listen to it. I know it's hard to listen to her, but it yeah, she was pretty upset with Dawn. And she said a few things. Oh, let me get my arm ready. Hello, beautiful.
Hello, honey. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, good deal. Okay, so I have to say I'm going out the back door if you hear a door. I have to say that if people are going to have a Summer Wells channel, it needs to be G rated. That's what I
I
will say.
I agree.
Oh my gosh. And another thing, and you're right about the scent stops, at the end of the driveway or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm wondering if people know the truth and they don't want it to come out because if she is still here, like they don't want her to have to go back there.
I wonder about that sometimes because it's already been brought up several times. Did grandma take her? Did grandma, hide her out and then grandma took her off when she left and went out of town?
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. At this point, we pretty much know that if Summer was found today, she wouldn't go back to 110.
Yeah.
So just let everybody know she's okay. I just wished. I wish we could know. I wished Ellie would inform us so that a lot of the drama would stop.
I agree.
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. And yes, on that channel the other night, was that
Oh,
not
girl.
disgusting?
I was shook. I just literally was listening to that.
Yeah.
Somebody was playing it. And what was really crazy is one of the panel guests, who also is a channel holder,
Hmm.
was streaming it on her channel thinking it was funny. And it
Yeah.
was not.
And it wasn't. And
Uh-uh.
and the words they were using and the insults towards
Oh,
Candace was
girl.
in that chat on that other channel listening. And
That was horrible.
she left she left. And I don't blame her. I mean,
It's
it
horrible.
was disgusting.
I was shook. I'm not going to lie. I
Yeah.
feel like I needed to get baptized again and take 14 baths. So
Oh,
I
I'm
felt
telling
so
you.
gross.
I was like, God, forgive me for even listening to that.
Yeah, it was pretty vile. But yeah, that channel is Summer's channel and
Mm,
Summer's Army.
yeah. Mm,
No.
no.
That's so not age appropriate
No.
for anybody. I'm 41 years old and I still was embarrassed.
Right.
It's
Totally.
horrible.
Yeah, totally. Totally embarrassed. I was just like, wash your mouth out with soap, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and do it for all of us. Just wash your mouth out and
And
don't
get
ever,
rebaptized.
yeah, and don't ever use those words and turn around and say, God bless, amen. This is Summer's channel.
Yeah,
It's
that just is
disgusting.
disgusting.
Oh, it makes me so mad. You
I get
know,
offended by that because, like, let's just say that was our family member,
yes.
Lolly. You would be on a warpath, and you know he
Oh,
would be.
honey, let me tell you,
Yeah.
I would haunt their nightmares for sure.
Hmm. No doubt.
No doubt.
But you're
I,
right about looking back at the beginning.
yeah, I mean, we gotta go and
It's,
look at things that we thought were irrelevant at that time because they may have been at the time because we didn't know all that we know now.
hmm
So, yeah, I really think we should just all kind of on our own time, whatever, and just kind of go through it again.
Because
Because,
something so small and minute could be absolutely the missing uh, detail that might would fit in somewhere
right,
else that we didn't realize. Because there's a
yeah,
lot of stuff that Fred says. I've told you in private. I'm gonna tell you
yeah,
now. I was not at home when the child went missing. Well, how do you know when the child went missing if you know exactly what time she went missing and you weren't at home?
right,
How do you
right.
know?
They all know.
He was the one keeping the roads hot that day and the day before, the days coming. He knew all the things.
Right.
But can
Oh,
we
yeah.
trust him? It always goes back to can we trust him?
That's the
You know?
thing, I mean, good God. You want to be able to to take everything he says and put it in their right puzzle piece, put that piece into that puzzle.
Yeah.
But you know,
But his pieces sometimes change.
yes.
They've changed a couple times. He's lost credibility a couple of times
Yeah.
because he'll go back and forth. But one thing he has not changed is who was in and out of that holler that day.
Exactly. Exactly.
That I'll say. That has
Yeah.
not changed.
Right. Yeah. And today I was listening to the neighbors live,
Uh-huh.
and I think it was Don said, "Oh, Andy's clear. He's got an alibi that day. He's all clear. He's good. He's a good guy." But
Mhm.
he said Jody Sue was the biggest nutcase in the world. Well, she got pissed about it because Andy was so good, she was so bad that she just started bringing up all kinds of stuff.
Now, Fred was saying these things.
No, Dawn was saying it.
Oh, my
She,
word.
she played a clip, and I think it was on Miss Daisy's channel, maybe.
Okay.
And she just played that clip, and I'm telling you, and like Dawn was talking about how him and Candace and the PIs moved her when she had to be moved. Bye, Borrowed. Thanks for coming. And she and Dawn said she even tried to offer us a cigarette dispenser thing. And he was like, no, that's probably belongs to your husband or something. Well, she's showing receipts today, and you can read the receipts. I was very surprised. But she showed the text and stuff. But she kind of flipped it around to where, see, they didn't even take it. They don't have it. They never took the cigarette case, their dispenser. I was like, well, yeah, that's kind of what he said. He's trying to make it in her favor, like, no. But she was very flustered. And then when she made the comment that you can have 7 alibis, it's easy to have 7 alibis when you have someone else doing the job for you.
Well, that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, I've never been one to say parents are guilty, parents are not guilty. I don't know. I've always been on that leg.
Well,
I
as
don't.
many knockdown, drag out fights that the parents have been in publicly that we have seen on live streams
Right.
and all of the other stuff that they've been involved in court wise, and for them not to turn on each other.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because he was in jail for 11 months.
Right. Exactly.
She had plenty of time to say something.
But I also wonder this. Hang on, let me dab my nose. It's like I don't need to blow it. It just gets wet like a puppy dog's nose. Um, she's the kind of person though that needs someone.
Oh, yeah.
She needs that man figure in her life to tell her
What to
what to
do?
do. That's the feeling I get.
Well,
That
if you look at her history of her husband and her other boyfriends and stuff, they've all been quite a bit older.
right, right. So that's the feeling I've always gotten.
Yeah, I agree.
And I have a cousin that's that way. There's people that are that way.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything bad against that, but I do think that she might not want to say anything if she has
Yeah.
something to say. But
It's like cutting her hand that feeds her.
right, right. But I always keep going back to the fact that as many times as they've been on YouTube talking while they're drunk, high as a kite, whatever, their stories never change. And
Right. That is true.
the only thing that I've ever noticed with their pattern that stuck out to me, and it was only recently that this kind of light bulb moment came on, is when someone asked Candace about that time, that empty space of time, and she had to go. And I
Yep.
was like, whoa. Well, I went and listened to other times that she's talking or whatever, and she does the same thing. She avoids that time, that whole timeline right there. She avoids, will not talk about it, loses service, has to go. That never gets talked about. But she'll talk about everything else.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And Don is the same way. He don't know because he wasn't there. So he can't really say anything because he wasn't there. So, that you'd have to really get with Candace on that to ask her those questions, kind of thing. He always puts it off on he wasn't there, so he doesn't know.
And that he always says, well, that's what my wife says, and I trust my
Yes.
wife and stuff like
Yes.
that.
But all of the other stuff around that time, the before and the after part, it never changes. How is it that for 2 years that story has held so tight, very accurate timeline? I get the time, I really do, being all screwed up. Anything major that happens, whether they were involved or not, that is a major blow to a person. And like I've said before, when I lost my son, it was at night sometime when I found out. And I don't even remember when the next day happened. You know what I'm saying? I don't know when time was. I can't tell you any of that. But other than the time, exact times, the story's all the same. And that always makes me wonder, how do they do that when because when you get drunk, girl, you
You
start
tell all
rattling
kinds of
off.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buddy, and we know Don has said more than he needed to when he's drunk, but it never changed his story. So that's the only thing that has had me question whether the parents were involved or not.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
you look at the neighbor, her story has changed 500 million times since day one. And her story adapts to the moment.
Right.
Yes, Miss
They
Crystal.
they've been under tremendous pressure too, and still kept to it.
Yeah. And that is the only reason I don't just outright accuse them, because I think they would have slipped somewhere.
I think somebody has guilty knowledge. If it's the neighbor, if it's the mom, they got guilty knowledge.
Yes. Miss Crystal, yes. I told everybody a while ago to pray for you. I know today's been a hard day, and we love you. Hi, Kim. Thanks for coming in. But yeah, that's the only reason I never have outright said, oh, yeah, it's got to be the parent. Because there's times where I've gone down that road of, did Candace do this or did she do that? Or, was Dawn there? Was she not there? So I've gone over those scenarios, but I just really that part baffles me.
Yeah.
If they are involved, I will be very impressed with the fact that they held on to that story.
Same. Crystal said it. Crystal down in chat said it one time. She said, "I've never seen a group of hillbillies keep their mouths shut this long."
Ooh,
those are her exact words.
You.
Have her come up on panel. She can tell it better than I can.
Right.
But But
Yeah.
I love my sister Crystal, and she has a ton of knowledge because she's been here since the beginning as well. But that's exactly the truth, though.
Yeah. And Kim, that is something that has been talked about a lot because Kim said, I still think somebody hit her, panicked, and took off with her. You know, it's been talked a lot about, but they always bring up the question, wouldn't the scent dogs have picked up on something on the road of hers? So I don't know. I I think somebody was there calling her down. I think somebody, if they would have had someone else's scent, they would have found that scent going down that dog trail with her. I don't know. I just have that feeling. But yeah, somebody's got to know. Somebody has to know something. And I don't know if they're doing that to um yes, okay, Miss Crystal. Yes. Makes no sense why JSB passed up that driveway and got in the creek. Yeah. Well, the dogs lost the scent, Kim. Lost her scent from the dog trail onto the driveway, and at the end of the driveway lost her scent. There was no scent on the road from what I've heard. Annabella, do you know any different on that one?
I do actually.
Okay.
Her scent did stop at the road, but from what I was told, it stayed. I did. Um, it stayed like on in the grass, like, but that's where she played anyway. Her scent would be all through there,
Yeah.
like toward the mailbox and the creek there to also.
Right. But it wasn't on the road, was it?
No, it never was.
Yeah.
It stopped there, but we have heard where they have said that she's getting pretty big trouble for being in the road.
Right.
She got in trouble, so she would stay off of the road.
The dogs did hit on JSB's feet. Makes me wonder if somebody else wasn't driving a car and she had little Summer was holding her or something. I don't know. I don't know. I just go in circles all the time about it. There's so many scenarios we could come up with, guys.
Well,
So many.
I'm telling you now, I was there. I got in that creek. I walked through that creek and I did 8 miles.
Yeah.
There's no way you could have done that barefoot or with sandals, especially in June. Listen, I was there in November and there's still no way, even with all of the foliage and stuff not being as big, there's no way. I'm telling you, you could not do it. Those rocks, oh my
Yeah.
word. I'm telling you, I walked all over them hills, 8 miles
Hey, Duchess, thanks for coming.
in boots, honey.
Yeah. Yeah. Kim, you know, the yellow vehicle that was spotted headed away from Bend Hill. They said it was going really fast. But from what I'm hearing everybody else say, people that live around there, they drive like a bat out of hell going down there. They know the curves, they know that road. And so I kind of, in my mind, I kind of brushed off that yellow vehicle. So I don't know.
Well, I'm going to tell you that it's hard to get two cars. One's going to have to pull over a little bit
Well,
for
that
two
was
cars
going
to go down there.
leaving out. It was leaving out when the cops were coming in. They
Yeah,
hadn't
but
even got.
what I'm trying to say is that for them to go fast through there like they do, you
Mhm.
literally have to pull over a little ways for two cars to pass each other.
Oh,
So,
really?
yes, it's very narrow. and you got a steep uh incline there, like where because the creek wraps all the way around. It goes under
Yeah.
their culvert there and everything. So
Right.
it's easy to take a bend going a little too fast and maybe having to veer over a little bit, scoot over for somebody else to come by you as well.
Right.
Passing each other. Yeah, it's a very narrow little road.
There's so many scenarios, vehicular manslaughter if she was hit. Yeah, that it's all possible. Kim said Fred owns a yellow vehicle. Hmm. So
I
did
love
Joe's.
Kim. Kim's been here since the very beginning.
Yeah, yeah,
I will say that Kim is 100% Team Summer, always has been from day one.
yay,
And
Kim.
she knows that case inside and out, just like a lot of us.
Right.
But she sees through a lot of the BS. I promise you that.
Boy,
And Kim will speak on it too. I
you
love her.
you gotta be able to notice that BS if you're
Oh, yeah.
following this case. I'm telling
She'll
you.
she'll correct it in a minute. She's like, nope, that's not what happened.
Yeah, there are so many times that over the last couple of weeks that I've just been listening, and I want to say something so bad. I was like, even if my hand worked good, I wasn't going to waste my time because some people don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear what's really out there.
I've been in chat before and I've wanted to say something so bad. And
Mhm.
I'll get ready to type it out and boom, there go Kim. I'll be like, damn, sis done took it for me. I didn't have to say nothing.
Go,
Love her.
Kim. Go, Kim. I want Kim on my side.
She's a good one. She's definitely a good one. She knows her facts, that's for sure.
Yeah. Wow. Kim, I get cussed a lot.
And people don't like it when you call them out on their BS.
No, they don't. They don't.
But I've watched Kim forever. I mean, we're talking about 2 freaking years. I've watched her in chat, and I have never seen anything come out of her mouth or out of her messages and her comments ever not been truth. Not one time.
Okay,
Not
well,
one time.
way to go, Kim. Woo,
Mhm.
yay.
Not one time. Even whenever she's talking ugly about somebody, I have to agree with her there too. Like I said,
Love it.
she speaks for me sometimes and don't even know it.
Well, most of us have been here since the beginning, or pretty very close to the beginning. And our facts that we know is because we've all paid attention. But there are people that have been here since the beginning and are like surprised when they hear something that they think is new just come out. And it's like, no, we've known about this for a year and a half, kind of thing. But there's people out there that just want to hear what they want to hear, and that's it. And yes, Kim, we all want this baby found and the right person to be accountable. For sure, girl.
I just think that looking at this case and looking at how many people are no longer here with us that are connected to connected people in the case is very eerie. It's very eerie to me.
Yeah.
So many people that have been looked at to be honest people have been arrested for things.
Right.
That Don even said this person is on this, he does this, and to hear him talk, you'd never think it, but here he is with a whole charge for everything Don had mentioned.
Yeah.
So that kind of I hate to say it, it discredits a person. It's, I hate to say that, but it
It
does.
it does. And that happens a lot, you know?
Mhm.
And the one thing that really gets me with all of this is the fact of you think about how many people have died
Yeah, they're no longer here that are connected to people.
and they're connected to people in this case. And yeah, it's almost spooky
It's
to think
eerie.
about.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Fred came up with Cotton's sister drove a white HHR. She lived off Simpson Loop there, or had it parked there. And he's talked about the white HHR, and now he's saying it was hers. And it's like, okay, is this for real? What does this have to do with anything? Does it have to do with anything? He did tell Ziggy that once it all comes out, all the puzzle pieces will start flying.
Well, once it comes out, means he knows the answers.
Yeah, and he said, "I know things about the day she went missing."
Well, this is the same man that claims that Don was at home that day.
Yeah, yeah. And Jody Sue brought up the fact that Dawn was supposed to be with Jamie that afternoon or something. I don't know who Jamie is. Somebody he works with or something. I don't know. But she did bring up the fact that, yeah, right. Kind of like, sure, you were with this person. I'm telling you, she talks in riddles and it pisses me off because I think she knows. I think she knows. And I think she's part of the cover up.
I think everybody that knows anything that has withheld information to help get to the bottom of this should be held accountable.
I agree. I
Because if
agree.
this was my baby, my grandbaby, my niecey, I don't care. And all these people knew all these things for 2 damn years and never once opened their mouth so my child could get justice. I would be furious and I would want them to be charged for withholding information of investigation.
Exactly. And especially if she's no longer alive,
Yes.
but she was. And by you keeping your mouth shut, you kept me from getting my child back. All hell would bust loose, man.
Exactly. And that's why I go back to that they probably go back to people may know something, and this is awful. But I'm just like, maybe they just don't want her to go back to that same place. And so that's the reason why they're keeping their mouth shut.
Right.
And that gives me hope that she's
Right.
okay, that she's all right.
Oh, it would be so wonderful if she was. It really would. It's just hard to hold on to that hope after, you're going on almost 3 years.
Read Kim's comment. That's exactly right.
Yes. Yes. Kim said, why doesn't he just go ahead and tell? Part of me believes that Cotton saw something. That's why he's gone.
Yep.
I think Fred was afraid he was going to talk. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Fred knew a little bit too much about that, did he not, for someone who wasn't
He knew.
involved?
Yeah, he knew. And the affidavit, I mean, the polygraph paper even said he had knowledge that had
Mm-hmm.
not been released
Yeah.
of the area and injuries and stuff like that.
I'm telling you, girl, I done told you months and months, probably a year ago. It struck me odd whenever he said, I was not home when the child went missing.
Yep.
How would you know?
Yep.
Unless you knew when she went missing. That
Yep.
meant he had to have seen her
Right.
to know that she was not missing. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
He had
definitely.
to have seen her playing in that yard, in that ditch bank, or whatever to
Yeah.
know that she was not missing.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And for me, it's hard for me to get over the fact that Jody Sue comes down her driveway, kicks off her shoes, gets in the creek to hide her scent.
Girl, and that driveway is not
And
close to that creek. I'm telling you,
yeah,
it's not.
and she starts looking for Summer before anybody told her Summer was gone.
Hmm. Then she
So,
tried to get Fred to walk through that creek with
and
her.
then yeah. Then she said
Why?
she tried to get Fred. So was Fred there?
It's
Were they
interesting,
both
isn't it?
trying to wash off their feet?
He said, "Get in the water,
Yeah.
get your scent, get whatever." That dumb bitch.
I know.
Yeah.
Awful. You know, Trying to listen to her is just makes my ears bleed. I just want to claw my eyeballs out. But I really think she has knowledge, and I think when she gets pissed, some of it comes out. And she starts making these poems and stuff. It's got truth to it. We've all seen Andy's reaction when she sent him a message while he started talking and answering questions.
He
And he
shuts down.
and he shut down, just shut up, done. So yeah, I really do. I really think I really think she knows. She might have been part of it. She might not have been. I don't know. But for her to come down that driveway 30 minutes early, doesn't take you that long to pull dead weeds out of your flowers.
Girl, it was in a
in
tire. Her
in
flowers are inside a damn tire.
So yeah, it's not that big of an area. It ain't gonna take you
I
30 damn
stood
minutes.
beside him. I stood
And
right beside him. It's in a damn tire.
and then for her to take off her shoes, jump in the creek, and start looking before she ever knew,
Ain't no
before
way.
anybody ever told her.
Ain't
Those
no way.
boys weren't even right there by her. They
And
didn't.
and she's never walked her dogs before.
Oh hell no! She even Andy says she ain't never walked her dogs, but she had
Till
them out
then,
there the day that
they were out there.
K9 was out there. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
she should have been arrested right then just for being stupid. But I mean, you don't do that. That's just stupid.
Oh Jesus!
Mhm.
Then there's that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother subject.
I'm telling you that Crystal knows the case too extremely well, and she knows a lot about the things that have been said about the neighbor and stuff like that. She's also been through there.
Mhm.
She's driven through there. She has actually done the drive, the amount of time it takes to do all of the things that they did that day, and she did she drove the sequence of events that day. She actually got out and she physically drove it herself.
Yeah.
Her findings were extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. Maybe she'll share that with you sometime.
Kiko. Thanks for coming in, Kiko. Kim says exactly just like Laura made the statement that she would tell on Fred if she knew he was involved, but she claims to be with him the whole day, so she would know he wasn't allegedly. So I'll tell you what, she was on PG's panel that night. The,
Mm-hmm.
it all got
Yes.
rough.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
she couldn't sit still. Bless her heart. I mean, I
Yeah.
know trying to come off of that mess has got to be hard on your body.
Or you're back on it. You're tweaking.
Yeah, true that. I tell you, I just, I wish somebody would have the balls to stand up and say, let me tell you what I know.
I agree, but they're lying their balls off now.
Yeah.
They lie
Yeah.
so much. You can't trust
Yeah.
anybody in this situation. And
Especially
then to
lie.
top it off, all these people that are dying are getting blamed for stuff and they can't even defend themselves.
Right. And that's the thing with now that Cotton's dead, Fred comes out with that story.
Just like the
Convenient.
old man that Don had supposedly told that they had sacrificed her for their sins. He's also passed away.
He
Fred also
gone.
mentioned that fella. Yeah.
Yeah. He gone. Yeah. And the girl that I believe was in the hollow at the back with Andy,
She's gone.
she gone.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So it's just, I don't know. It's weird. So let me ask. I was listening, I don't remember where it was. Maybe it was on Ziggy's or something. Like I said, I've been trying to listen to everybody's take on everything. And Laura was saying the dogs hid there on their property. And Fred had found a pair of Summer's clothes inside an old washing machine up there.
It was a
Have you heard that?
backpack. It was a backpack of Summer's clothes.
Okay, well, see, it came out that the pink backpack had meth paraphernalia in it, is what they were saying. And then the
Secret,
clothes were found
secret.
in an old washing machine. I had heard the backpack.
I'd heard the backpack too. Crystal
Hmm.
just said it in chat. You see that about the hillbillies?
Yeah.
She's a hillbilly, so she can say it.
Yeah.
I wish she'd come up here. She's got so much knowledge.
Crystal, do you want to come up? I will put this link in there. Anybody wants to come up, y'all come on. We're just a
Because
chatting.
I would love for her to tell you about her day trip she did.
Ugh,
Because
it's
she
like
can tell you. It's
I put.
crazy.
There we
She,
go.
she was back by shortly after 3 that day, and she did the exact same thing they did.
So that time makes sense.
She was. I'd love for her to share it with you, because she was in a totally different state, baby.
Yeah, well, true. Hmm. Yeah, Kiko. I've heard about the backpack being found and everything, but the other day Laura was saying that Fred found some of Summer's clothes in an old washing machine on their property, and the backpack had meth paraphernalia in it, and she thinks Jason Arnold threw it down when he saw them coming. I got very confused on that.
She said, Jason.
Not Jason, Chad Arnold, because he was up there a lot.
Hmm.
And I believe that's Candace's number one suspect.
Chad
Hmm.
or Fred.
Chad.
Because she was scared to talk about Fred, remember?
Yeah. Hello, beautiful.
Hello.
How are
Girl,
you
tell her
today?
about your day trip.
Oh, well, I mean it's all on my channel. When I show the clock, I've showed it to Annabella.
Okay.
Uh, I Now when I went in February of not this year, last year, and I tried to stay the exact same time that they said they stayed there that day. At
Right.
each place individually. I even ordered food at the Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a car pull into the Walgreens, waited for it to pull out. That way I'd know about how long it takes them to fill a prescription or
Right.
drop one off, rather, and to pick one up. I did that both times. I went to Hippie House. I went to the discount tobacco store. Went to Ben Hill, and I was back to the Kentucky line at 3:10.
Wow. Hmm.
And I mean, that was with me getting lost. I mean, I got on some little old back road. I got on some little old back road, and I told my cousin, I was like, there ain't no way there is no hospital up in here. But I was. I mean, and you can, on my channel, I mean, you can walk, you can look right there.
Okay.
I point it right at the clock when I'm going through the tunnels back to Kentucky.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go watch it. It was about a year ago, you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's February the 11th of 22.
Okay. I'm gonna go check it out.
So there is a lot of time that is
There's
that
a lot of
is
time
not
missed.
mentioned. Yeah, because she was in a whole other state by
Right.
10 minutes after 3.
Yeah.
I mean,
Another thing
you
that,
can see it. It's you can see the tunnel and going into Kentucky, and
Yeah.
she did everything. She actually ordered more than a slushie at Sonic. Now the
yeah,
tobacco store and the hippie house, they're in the same little plaza type
Yeah.
deal.
It don't take long to go in there. Yeah.
But still,
So Kiko says, remember Fred saying in the first interview that Marlena also came to his house that day?
well, I
I
tell
don't.
you something I remember Fred saying
Okay.
is that they had found a shallow grave on Fields Road. My question is, why is this? If he knew anything about cotton, why didn't he say it back then? That's what I'm confused about.
I agree on that so much.
I mean, when he was showing bones, and I'm sorry, I'm not buying that he wasn't trying to pull one over on anybody, because your girl lives in the hills here, and I know the difference between deer bone and human bones.
Right.
I know an animal's bones if I see it. So any countryman would. I'm sorry,
Well,
but
I
they
had
would.
heard, I don't even remember where I heard it from, to be honest with you. Um, those bones were supposed to be for
Molly.
Molly and Bullhorn Betty and all them.
Yep.
I don't care who they were for. I don't care if they were for the Joker down the street. That was not a game to play on Summer's case.
I agree.
And for
Totally.
somebody to think like that, then
Right.
they need a little bit more help than I could offer them.
Well, it was Fred Hill. Hi, squirrely girl. Thanks for being here. Yeah, she says, and Fred definitely knows animal bones.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you something that's always bothered me, and it's not been no secret with me. I've said this since day one. I live back in the boondocks, okay? If you
Hmm.
look at my channel, you can see I live back in the boondocks. I take a ride up my holler one day just to
Right.
show
I remember
people,
that.
yes, I live back in the boonies. But, and to be honest with you, where I live and Ben Hill's the city compared to where I live, okay? So if
Uh,
I hear my neighbor screaming and she sounds panicked and she's saying her kid's name, I'm
hmm.
not passing up her driveway to go get in a creek.
No joke.
I'm going to go up that driveway and see if somebody needs help. That never has sit with me well. That she
I
passes
agree.
up the driveway and she gets in the creek. And at first I thought maybe the creek was before the driveway. But when I went down there, that's what stood out
See,
to me. She had to pass their driveway up to get in the creek.
I did too. I thought the same thing. And then Annabella, when she went and everything, and we were talking about the creek, and we realized I was thinking that because everybody's videos that they were showing, they had turned it, to the back of their phone. Well, it flipped everything. So everything was backwards looking to me.
Yeah, she thought that
I was all kind
110 was on the left side.
of, yeah.
She
Oh,
was thinking that it was on the left side, and I was like, no, baby,
Yeah.
no, honey, it's not because they're coming back out or whatever, so they can be on the driver's side filming.
Right. Right.
Because
And
usually
then
they're not by themselves. Sometimes they don't have anybody with them, so they do it that way. But I'm telling you, and Crystal
yeah.
she can verify this. That creek is nowhere near her driveway. You got to go down a hill, honey. You got to go down a hill,
That is
down the
crazy.
road. You got to go
if
down the
I
road.
was if I was trying to guess how far that creek is from the end of that driveway, I would say it's at least a football field or
Really?
close to it.
Wow.
Would you say that, Anna? It's pretty close to it. If it ain't, it's knocking it.
It like I said, you got to go down. You got to go down a road. You got to go down a hill. You got to go down to the big.
Yeah.
They call it a tile. I call it a culvert. You got to go pretty good distance down there. I mean, it ain't just hit her driveway and hop in a creek. No, boo boo.
No.
It's across the road and it's down a road at that. But oh Jesus! Whenever
It's
she
about
says
a
that,
football
She had to
field from
cross the
Jody's
road,
driveway.
go down past the driveway, and go further down to get to the creek.
you
Correct?
have to leave Jody Sue's driveway. You
Uh-huh.
start
Pass up
walking
the wells.
down. Yeah, you're gonna walk down, and you're gonna end up passing the wells, and then you're gonna have to walk some more and walk some more till you get to the end of that hill, and then you get in that creek. But then you
Isn't
got to
that
walk a distance off the road to get into the creek, barefoot with no sandals
Chloe
on.
girl? Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
And
What?
now you think about that and top it off with the fact that she had to have help getting out of that building that day. Her
Yeah,
son,
exactly.
she was so sick from radiation and stuff. Her son had to help her.
I remember Annabella saying the creek, getting out of that creek was no easy task there. And
No, it
for
wasn't.
her, yeah, with her being such bad shape that day, she shouldn't have been able to get out of that creek.
Shouldn't have been able to get in it
Well,
barefoot.
I can only speak on what I would do. But if
Right.
something had caught my attention and I had really heard her scream that day, and first of all, what I would do is I wouldn't be walking to the end of my driveway for my man to pick me up, but that's not here nor there.
Right.
Especially if I've been sick. Uh, but to walk down the driveway, and I've heard her scream, and I'm worried. I'm going to go up that driveway and see if somebody's hurt. I'm not immediately thinking somebody's been abducted.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was her
And
first thought.
something else that hit my mind, she said, I got in the creek because we all know what it's like around here when somebody goes missing. Well, tell me how many kids has went missing from Ben Hill.
Yeah, that was a stupid thing to say.
I mean,
We all
what?
know to get in the creek and wash our feet off, wash our scent off. It's like,
If we have something to hide. But
exactly.
now I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm concerned about a small child being took by somebody, I'm not getting in the creek. No way.
Well, yeah, no. Mm-mm.
I mean, I'm not. If that was truly what was hitting in my mind, if somebody had took her, I would have
Right.
probably headed down the road to see if I could see something.
Yeah. And
But
Kim,
no, she tried to get Fred to get in the creek with her.
yeah, wash off his scent. And that's what I'm saying. When does
And
Fred appear?
I'll tell you something else that has bothered me. Her acting like memories just come back.
Oh gosh, yes.
Let me tell you something about PTSD. No, let me ask something. What happened so bad that day that it caused her to suppress memories?
Well, according
Something
to her,
has to happen to you
yeah,
for that to occur.
yeah.
So, does she know? I mean, it would have to be a very traumatic event that happened to you.
Yeah, Kim, I agree. Kim says she saw everything except what happened to Summer, hypervigilant. She was so hypervigilant, she knew everything that went on in that whole area, that whole holler. but she knew nothing about when Summer come up missing.
Let me tell you something about hypervigilance. Okay. My house burnt in 2005. For years, I would check every plug in before I went to bed. I would lay down, convince myself that I hadn't done it, and get up and check again. I couldn't let it go.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't drive in
You,
the rain.
if you're being hyper vigilant, you're not going to mark something off as
Right.
being something else. If you're truly being hyper vigilant,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think a lot of her story has to do with convenience for that time and what people are talking about. I think she was, yeah, Kim, I was just fixing to say paranoid
oh
over
yeah,
the fact of what they had growing up there. And I think her stories all bend and twist according to what is happening at that moment. I mean, for a woman to say she hates kids, no, she started out with I love Summer, love them boys, do anything for them. And the next thing you
but
know, she's like, I hate kids. I dare
no,
one of them
she
stick their
started
tongue
out
on my
hating
property.
kids.
And then she goes back to loving on them and, trying to cook for them and made all their birthday cakes. And
Just
yeah,
a just a week before Summer went missing, she was on there griping about kids
yes,
on Facebook.
yes, yeah. And Andy said
One
even
toe,
when she went
just
down
one
there,
foot.
yeah,
Remember that? One foot on my property, just one
one
foot.
toe. Wasn't it one toe? I dare them to put one toe on my property. I'm like, geez, and then
And
she
I'm
laughed
sorry,
about the kids
but the
falling off
words,
the cliff, you know,
the
and they're
well,
kids, it's
the
going to be funny
perfect
when they fall
storm
off the
was
cliff.
brewing.
Yeah, perfect storm was brewing.
Something bad's going to happen.
Yeah,
Well, you know what? I think you hit that right on the head, Jody Sue.
yeah,
Question is, how did you know something bad was going to
right.
happen?
Yeah. You know, you could take any person out there that has had their name put into this case and you could create a story about it.
You could make a case on any one of
Yeah,
them.
you can create a whole story about how they were involved. That's the sad part.
This youngin' had so much evil surrounding her.
She really did. Bless her
And
bones.
I honestly
Bless her.
think, I don't know about you all, but I mean, if I listen to it too much, especially now that it's more drama than it's actually people looking into the case,
Right.
um, it gets me in a foul mood. It
Yeah,
completely, it completely just drains my spirit, to be honest with you.
it
And
does.
that in itself ought to tell us the type of people that was around her. The fact that we can listen to this garbage and it will bring us down.
Yeah. Could you imagine living there?
No.
Man. And I don't buy the fact that nobody knows who nobody is. I don't know them. No, I don't know who that would be.
They don't know them, but they know all about them.
But yeah, next thing you know, they know their whole life history and can tell you where they were at that moment. And it's just insane. Stop it with, I don't know them.
Well, how many people has not known them? Let's start.
Right.
Okay. We done
That would
mentioned
be the shorter
we done
list.
mentioned Jody Sue. Jody Sue, they were just neighbors. Like if you need sugar or something like that,
Right.
not big buddies, but yet they
Right.
took pictures of each other's abuse. Uh, she'd see supposedly seed Don showers with Summer.
Oh, yeah.
Was there the day before at the house.
Yeah.
Um, Evan, and then it went to she babysitted if
Oh yeah.
Candace wasn't going to be home to get them off the bus. She cooked for them because evidently they didn't have much food, but she didn't know them. Now,
Right.
when she started out, she didn't know them, but now
Yeah.
Summer was loved. Now Summer was abused. Summer
Yeah.
was around drugs. Then you go to Don Sherfy. Let's go to him for a second. He didn't
Oh
know
yeah.
Jody Sue. He didn't know Jody Sue,
No.
but he pulled a gun on her one time
Yeah.
and said that out of his mouth. But yet later on, he acted like he didn't even know her. But they know each other's deeds and stuff. Who was supposed to
Right.
get what land? I'm sorry, I don't know that much about people that I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. If I don't know them, I really don't know them. I can't tell you who they're related to or what they've done, or I couldn't even tell you a conversation I had with them because I don't know them.
A lot of
But
these people are all intertwined in relations too.
they are. That's like, Andy, he didn't know much about Fred, and Fred don't know much about Andy, but freaking hello, they're cousins.
Tell your
He
son
didn't
happy
he didn't know
birthday,
Marlena
Duchess.
Crawford. They're cousins. Oh, Duchess,
I
it's your
think.
son's birthday. Tell him happy birthday for us.
I believe that this case has anything in abundance, it's liars.
Oh, definitely so. Yes.
Never in my life have I saw a bunch of hillbillies be such good secret keepers. And I'm sorry I can say that because I am one. I was born and bred, honey, right back in a holler. It don't get no countrier than me. I'm country as cornbread. But I'm here to tell you that one man got blew up in his house, and by the next day, every one of us was talking about it.
Yeah.
Everybody was chattering about what did they say? You know what I mean? So you
Right.
can't tell
Right.
me that that ain't happening right there too. Up in here,
Yeah.
everybody knows each other. The property we own, we have owned it for years. It's been in the family for years. It's about the same scenario. You let something go down up in here, and one's calling the other one. You telling me on June the 15th that didn't happen in Ben Hill? Tell me that, I'll
Hmm.
call you a liar.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's so obvious. That's something that just really gets me. It is so obvious. Why don't people understand that? Hello, we all know you're lying. Give it up. It's just so sad and so disgusting
Hmm.
And you
because
know what? You know what else is it disgusting about this? And I'm sorry, I've had a rough day.
no, you're good.
I love you
So
right now. You just speaking your mind, sis, and
That's
I'm just like,
right.
I want
my
you to be
fil-
my attorney. If I ever do anything wrong, I have to go to court. I need you to be my attorney.
my filter ain't good right now. My son would have been 22 years old today,
I know.
and it's just been a rough day all the way around.
I bet.
But oh, why? Why on earth do we have a sheriff who right out of the gate says there's not a drug problem, but yet he has arrested how many people since he said there wasn't a drug problem?
Right.
I'm sorry, Ronnie
And
Lawson.
if you
Sounds like you got
notice,
a drug problem.
all the drug, all the arrest for all that SA and drugs and all that stuff came when there was so much going on with his son and everything. And we started making a fuss, everybody calling
And
and writing letters and all that. And FBI came into it, investigate him. And that's when all of that started happening.
Yeah, and don't forget about the juvenile judge most recently.
Right.
mhm.
Yeah. And I don't think any of that would have happened. I don't think those arrests would have came or anything had that not have happened.
And you
And
know what? I'm sorry, Lolly.
no, you're
But you
good.
know what else is disgusting that just makes me sick is some of the doggone theories that people come up with because I'm telling you, my mind don't go there.
that's me. I don't get it. I can't understand why people would think the way they do on some of it because,
They're sick.
yeah, oh my gosh. I agree, Squirrely Girl. She says, sometimes I think to myself, is this real? Because it's such a crazy mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's for real.
Summer deserves better
Unfortunately,
than
it
what
is for real.
she deserves better than what she's getting.
Oh, she so does.
I
Even her
mean,
brothers do, because y'all
yes.
know that those boys are going to get on YouTube because they knew the parents were on YouTube. They knew that was part of what was going on, and they're going to listen. And unfortunately, it's not going to be
Unfortunately,
very,
they're going to get a lot of creators just arguing with each other.
yeah, it's not going to be
Uh,
good.
Falsehoods that's put out there.
Yeah.
Um, some of the one theory that somebody said that's always stuck in my mind was they put her in the shed and then rent her out. I guess that's the only way I can say it without getting
Yes.
lolly. And then come back. Maybe somebody didn't just bring her back.
Right.
Why would you think something like that?
Yeah.
It's not a drive-through.
Yeah. Right. I mean, how do you get that conclusion?
How does
I
your
don't
mind go there?
understand. And it is so frustrating to me when I can't comprehend why do you go there?
And
You know,
then
and everybody,
you got the boys, people, I mean, they ain't thinking about them. And I'm
right,
sorry, and when I say they ain't thinking about them, I mean the parents ain't either.
right.
Because you
Mm-hmm.
would never put down a foster parent that's taking care of your kids when you can't take care of them and throw up the
Right.
medical card that they're getting for their health care.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
always bothered me.
Yeah. You're right. Very right.
And you want me to tell you something else? All these cash outs floating around. That makes me sick. You know, when my house burned, I didn't even know I had a dollar to my name.
Yeah.
I didn't. People had donated. But do you think my mom was there to know that they'd done that?
Exactly. Yeah.
It had to be brought to my attention. Crystal,
Yeah.
here, go get you some clothes. So and so brought this. No, that was not on my mind. And I had two
Exactly.
kids to bury and a husband in a burn unit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's crazy. It's sad, you
It has,
know.
Kim. It has become the Dawn and Candace show,
It
along with
has.
everybody, along with all the people that want to argue over it.
Yep, it has. And this is my whole thing with that is, it if you want to blame the parents, if you want to stay on that path, okay, do it. But it doesn't have to become a circus.
You
Everybody's
know,
turning this whole thing into a circus, and it's not, it's just, it's not
I've
right.
I have never blamed the parents. I've never upheld them either.
Right.
I've never said, oh, it had to be them.
Right.
Because when it comes down to it, we haven't got enough facts about anybody to say that's
Yeah.
the guilty bird right there. We
Yeah.
do got people that's making things look awful bad on themselves, and they're doing it themselves with their
Yeah.
own words.
Exactly.
But I mean, and I'm not going to be that person. I will not be that person that says I'm going to stick to this. I think
Yeah.
it was the parents, or uphold parents when I don't know if
Yeah.
they're guilty or innocent. I'm not going
Yeah.
to do that.
No.
Uh,
The parents have done enough bad on their own and made themselves look bad being on YouTube and being drunk and abuse that they've done. They could have done so much better. They've done a lot to themselves. But then when you have creators making things worse, why would somebody get them fired from their job?
Mm-hmm.
I
Because
mean,
they got a camera in their hand.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How
You'll
is
just
that going to help get Summer home? And that's
it don't.
everything that I want to talk about or decide to talk about or whatever always starts with how will this help bring Summer back?
Well, causing the parents to lose their job, I tell you what that does. That takes a real hard toll on the taxpayers of Tennessee,
Yeah,
because they are supposed to be paying child support while those kids are in foster care to the
right.
state.
Yeah,
Um, Going real life on anybody, in my personal opinion, is uncalled for, and it shows your true colors when you do it.
yeah.
Um,
Sammy Sparrow says, "I don't point the finger at anyone, just their or their behaviors." And that's
yes, and
it.
let me say this: I've never, uh, like I said, I'm not for them and I'm not against them. But I will say this: with what I saw with and heard with my own ears, if they found Summer tomorrow, I don't think those kids ought to go back there. Not until
Uh-uh.
they can get their lives straightened up.
I agree. I agree.
I agree.
And I am the first one that will tell you I don't think there is an addict out there that woke up and said, you know what, I want to be a drug addict. No, it started somewhere.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. I mean, you have to look at the parents and how they were raised and the lifestyle they had growing up, and they've carried that on. And then that was what was being put out on their kids, you know? And yeah, Kim says, why get them fired? Why call CPS? Why call the PO? It's about hating the parents. That's what
Yeah,
it's
because
about.
nobody evidently knew CPS's number before Summer went missing.
No joke.
Mm.
Yeah, no
I
joke.
For
love this
everybody
woman.
to have seen so much abuse, there wasn't nobody standing up for her.
Right.
I would be ashamed to get on YouTube and say, "Well, I saw how it went on up there." Let me tell you something. This old gal sees you abusing your kid. I will call the
Right.
law on you right there. I will stand there till they get there, and I'll make sure those kids get took.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I ain't li- I've got to do what I can live with, and I can't live with tomorrow seeing a kid abused today. So you
Right.
guarantee, if I see it, I'll say something. But
Right.
I won't leave your side till they get there. You'll look me in the eyes.
Yeah,
Abuse your
definitely.
kids in front of me, and you guarantee I'm going to call the law on you. And I'm not going to leave
You
them
know,
youngins there to be beat on.
right.
I'm going to
That's
wait.
like the other night on Daisy's channel. They're talking, and girl comes up there on the panel, and they start squabbling and fighting and going back and forth. Well, something Ziggy had done or said, and that gets brought into it, where everybody in the chat's talking about this, that, and the other. Well, come to find out, Ziggy was holding the dog she had got from the Wells and was picking fleas off of it, supposedly. I didn't see it, but and she was flicking them across the room. So
Oh my gosh.
one of the creators is a rescue. She's done the training and everything, and she felt it necessary that she needed to call the animal cruelty on her. I was like,
Do what?
yeah. When you start going real personal with things, that's when it's time for everybody to step back and take a breath. Getting Don fired, calling his PO so many times that they make him come back. You know, he did the right thing before he left Tennessee. You got to give him credit for that. He called his PO and got it approved. And they checked in with him. You know, he was doing everything okay. But then so many calls, and his PO's like, you got to come back. There's too many calls. So, you know, it's like, it's just, that's crossing a line.
That's if that's what really happened, though.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's like Ziggy's dog. Just because you're upset with the way she handled a situation. That was a little
See,
much for me.
Carol,
I
I
just,
completely agree.
yeah.
She says the standard you walk past is the standard you accept.
Yeah.
I love Sammy. She's so smart.
I love her. She stays on The Neighbor. I love it.
Well, I'm
Love
starting to
it.
think more than one neighbor needs that be stayed on, to be honest with you.
I tell you, and I think there's neighbors that are not talking for a reason because they're trying to stay out of the way, stay back and stay hidden.
Shit, I would too.
Yeah.
Those neighbors are dangerous.
Keep going. Yeah. Agree.
I've been there. I've met a couple of the neighbors. They're not
I
all
was so
bad.
close to getting there. I was so sad. I was so close. My arm aches every time I think about it.
Well,
I didn't
you'll
even get
go.
I never got my coffee cup or a shot glass to bring back. I was like,
Girl, we're just gonna have to go and meet Crystal.
we are.
I want to
Yeah.
go to Crystal's anyway. I need some baby therapy.
Oh, honey, there's
Yeah.
plenty. There is plenty of that up in here.
Oh, we love you, Sammy. I love everybody. I love you all so much. I have missed y'all so much. And I probably should have came on because y'all always make me feel better. Just
I'm
chatting.
the same way, and I finally go live, and I'm like, gosh, why didn't I do this sooner? I feel so much better. I miss my friends.
Yeah, I should have probably. But I tell you what, I got pretty dark and deep there for a while.
I know.
It was rough. You know, and my daughter's like, Mom, why don't you call? Why don't you come stay with us? And it's like, no, you know, they have their lives and they're busy. And I want to be home. But then being home too much kind of gets you.
It does.
So I went to work one night. My arm swelled up so bad. By the time I got home, I couldn't stand it. So I haven't been back. So y'all just pray over the next week. They do an x-ray and all of this is all healed up. But I think this bottom part bone right there is not quite healed up.
When do you go back?
The 31st, next Thursday.
Okay.
And they'll take x-rays and hope and pray. Once all the bones are fused together, I can start therapy.
Oh, Duchess, I can't wait till you get that uploaded. I've been wanting to see that all week.
What? I can't see Chad. I'm crocheting a scarf. Let's see done see it.
Duchess says I'm working on getting the footage from today's trip down the waterway to the jetties uploaded on the Tyler Doyle case.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Kim, I'm doing better. I still have a ways to go. So, and when I thought I was having fever all that time, I don't know if I told you all that, but
You told me.
And everything, and it was shock.
Yeah, your body was in shock.
My body was still in shock. Craziness. So, I don't know. I want to go back to Tennessee, but I ain't climbing down no mountainsides. I don't care if there's a river there. I'll just look from the car. My cousin, I told her that, and she's like, "Yeah, right. You're gonna go back walking around." Like, no, I can't. I'm not doing it. No more. Never again. I probably will. It does take time, doesn't it? And it's like, oh, I want it done, and I want it done now. And it is so hard because I can't use my right arm. I can now hold something in my arm, in my hand, as long as it doesn't weigh very much, but I can still hold onto it. So that's a good thing. But I do think right at my elbow, right here, oh, um, there's a spot that's about that big around. And when I rub on it, because I've been rubbing my arm, just trying to keep blood flowing through it and stuff. And when I touch that spot, it shoots burning pain down to all the way to the tips of my fingers. But I can't feel, if I was to poke and squeeze and all that, sometimes I feel nothing. So there might be a nerve or something that is pinched off. So we'll find out, and I won't stop till I am healed up in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Hi, Sassy, Brenda. Thanks for coming in. So, anyways.
I just love it whenever Crystal speaks on things because she doesn't hold nothing back.
Yeah. Good night, Squirrely Girl.
I really enjoy
coming by.
Her point of view.
3 to 6 months to regenerate. Oh, no. Now, they did tell me that the nerves just may not have woken all the way up yet. And last week, I had the nerves waking up over here in this part of my arm because the muscles started spazzing and I could feel a little tingling going through. It was really weird. So I am on what? Going on almost 2 months.
See, I think you're doing really good for 2 months. I really do. I think you're doing extremely well.
I am trying. So I keep telling myself, don't stop, don't just sit there, and keep moving it. And I'll move it and do little things that I can, but I got it to where my arm is all the way straight now. I can put my hand all the way straight out. So that's a good thing. But it feels like it weighs 500 pounds. I swear to you, because I can't move all this real good yet. It feels like it's just dead weight. So I'll be glad when it's all fixed and I'm all back to normal. And my granddaughter was telling me something. They got new chickens and they got new baby ducks. So she was like, Lolly, you have to come over here. We'll go out there and play with them. And I'm like, well, Lolly's arm's not doing good yet. Give me a little more time. And she says, next time you break your arm, just make sure you break only one of those bones. It's like, okay, I'll do that. You sweet little mind.
That's funny. I'm going to drop down. My mama's calling me, girl. She's like, want me to come downstairs for something. I'll be in chat, though. But let me go see what Nancy wants before she come up here.
Okay. Are you going live after a while?
I'm thinking about it. I just don't know what I'm going to talk about because I've already talked about my cancer and stuff, and I don't want to talk about it again. But I can't go on camera because I have a huge thing on my forehead. Now it's swelling up really big. Yeah. So I still can't go on camera. It's gotten really, really, it's swollen up pretty big. But she's down there hollering about something, and she's saying my whole government name. So let me get down there.
You're in trouble.
Bye, y'all.
Girl.
Molly, I think I'm going to drop down too. But honey, I love you. I hope you
Okay.
get to healing, and you all keep me in
Okay.
your
I love
prayers.
you, and
Love you.
thoughts are with you, sending you big hugs. I know
Thank
today's rough.
you. Yeah, it's been a rough one today. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those. Yeah, got to get me through it.
Yeah.
I- it's been like
Yeah.
this for. One thing that I can say though is it's been 18 years,
Mm,
and not a day goes by. Not a
yeah.
day goes by that I haven't thought of my boys. And like anytime there's a, I hate to even call it anniversary, but that's what it is. You know what I
That's what it
mean?
is. Yeah.
Like every year on the 14th, I mean, uh, this year the good Lord blessed me, and I got to talk to Dutchie that day. It kept my mind off of it a little bit, and but God sends us what we need,
Yeah.
and I think about Paul. He had a thorn in his flesh. He prayed twice for that thorn to be removed, and the Lord didn't remove it because his strength was in his weakness.
Yeah.
And sometimes you know, I think it would be good if I could go a day or two and not think about, the house fire, losing the boys. But then I
Right.
got, your strength
It's
is in your
always there.
weakness.
It's always there. Yeah.
I know what it's like not to have anything, and it keeps you humble. It
It
makes you
does.
appreciate what you do got, makes you
Yeah.
love the people that you love a little bit closer.
Yeah.
And people, we have no guarantee of tomorrow. We
That's
don't.
right.
And I know that firsthand. Because
Yeah.
when I went to bed on the 13th, my life was what you could say was perfect, or I felt like it was. My
Yeah.
home was paid for, married to a great man, had 4 kids, and on the 14th, I lost everything.
Yeah.
So,
Mm,
I mean, what you, if you got your youngins with you, I mean, I still got 2 kids, and just always let them know you love them.
always. It does
Um,
change you.
yeah, it does. I mean,
It
nobody
does.
knows what it's like. It's not. It's this club you don't want to be a part of,
Right. Right.
and when it comes to birthdays like today, you
Yeah.
spend it at a headstone that can't talk back,
Oh
and
yeah.
then like this week I seen a mom and a son. I mean, not even talking to each other, and that breaks my heart
I
because
know it.
you have no guarantee of tomorrow. You know
No.
that, Lolly.
I know.
Um,
I know. It is a feeling that no one can describe until you've been through it. Losing other family members hurt. It does, and you think of them every day, and it affects you, but not like losing a child.
Oh, I love you, Dutchie. Mhm.
I love you, and I love your words of wisdom, and you are very special to all of us.
Oh, thank you. Uh,
You are.
if I
And
was
you're
too blunt on your panel, I'm sorry. But like I said, today's been
no, you're
hard.
good. You're
But
good.
and a lot of times when I'm having a hard day, I'm a little blunter than normal, which I'm always blunt. But I mean,
Yeah. No,
sometimes
I
my
got
filter
you.
just falls right out on the floor. But
Yeah.
I just, I Summer's did so much for me. She's changed my life, and I
Yeah.
just hope that one day I can tell her that she's
I
made
agree.
such a impact on my life and that she's changed it for the better.
Right.
And I mean, I think she deserves the best. She don't deserve this feud and you
No,
all.
she doesn't. No, she does.
Um, she deserves people to love her like everybody says they do, but not get on here and go for each other's throat. You can have
Goodness.
different opinions. We are grown adults.
Right. Right.
Kindergartners fight because the other don't want to play the same game they're playing. Adults ain't supposed to do that.
Right. Exactly. It's like I said, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I
It
don't ever
breaks
want to
my
be
heart.
like that.
what really, really, what really, really shatters my heart is the people that you see arguing with each other. They've all got so much to give, but they would just work together and realize that
Oh
they don't
yeah.
have to have the same opinions. They don't
Right.
have to have the same friends.
Right.
I'm sure that, I mean, I'm sure I probably have friends that you don't know or don't like. It don't matter. We're adults.
Right.
I'm going to like who I like, and you like who you like. And I can like you, even though
I
you may like
definitely love
somebody
you.
I don't particularly care about.
Right.
But that's that's an
That's
adult.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And you
I
get
guess.
farther talking about your theories and telling why you have them theories and not griping at each other
Right.
or wanting to go, you
I
know,
think when
real life on somebody.
exactly, when people get to a certain point of anger and vicious and they can't speak a word that is not encouraging, it's time to step away and take a breather, just
Yes,
step
yes,
away.
yes.
And then
100%.
come back with renewed freshness and keep going. But it will not be that way, I don't think, ever, because people are so dug in so hard and it's gotten so bad.
You know, Lolly, when I I did like
Laura Jean,
everybody else
thanks for
did.
being here. Thank you.
Um, I did like everybody else. I wanted to do something to make a difference,
Right,
and my first video was the Summer Wells Challenge for everybody to put up flyers where they live because we didn't know where she is.
right.
Um, and I had a theory that if everybody just put up one, if 1,000 people did it, that's 1,000
Yeah,
more flyers. That's up more
yeah.
than what was. But I saw real quick that there's no big change that I'm going to make on YouTube in this case.
No, yeah.
So, Lord started dealing with me and my husband, and we went into foster care.
Those babies are
And
so lucky.
that, I mean, like I said, and that all that came from this case. So Summer's changed my life. She brought some of the biggest blessings into my life, and I just hope one day I can look her in the eyes and tell her she did.
That's right. Wouldn't that be amazing?
I, d- I don't want to argue with other creators about a case because let me tell you something, it just turns into gossip anyways. What is gossip? It's when
Right.
two people are talking about somebody else when they neither one have the facts or the resolution for that other situation.
Exactly.
And that's what you're seeing anymore.
Yeah. And that's all there is to it. You know, it's their opinion being pushed as their narrative. And it's almost as if you don't agree, leave. That's kind of where it's starting to head to. I'm hearing
Yeah.
people say that. Or, don't be in somebody else's chat that thinks differently or something. I've heard that before. And it's just so discouraging to me that, you know, we're grown-ups. We can make our own
Yes.
choices and we can think how we want to think. Like I
A
say, I
hundred
just want to
percent.
keep her name out here. I just want to keep looking over this whole thing and seeing if there's little pieces we've missed, put our heads together. I just want to keep her name going, but I want to keep
You
it
know,
in a positive side. I don't
yeah,
want
I completely
stuff.
agree with that. I mean, I completely agree with that. Where I see fault in it is when you got people um, arguing and then trying to, I mean, just weave every little narrative in the world in there. That's reaching. And when
Mhm.
you're doing that, you're not, there's no other way to look at it. You're doing it for content. And if you're just doing it for content and you're not doing it out of the pureness of your heart,
Right.
and no, I ain't making no money. Well, take that little money sign down then.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
you're going to put her in your name, don't be on your panel arguing with somebody about something, because
Right.
that's not about Summer.
Exactly.
That's about a division between two people. It ain't got nothing to do with this youngin.
Right. And that's something, like I said, I always try to remember number one, first off, is this going to help in any way? Is this going to be anything positive towards this little girl? And if it's something positive we can talk about that might could help a little bit, then I'm good with it. But there's times where I've had stuff written down, thoughts, okay, this, and I and it's like, yeah, that's not going to do no good. That's not going to help anything. That's just going to stir up drama and no, and throw it away because I don't want that.
You know,
I
with
want
the
to,
blimp
I want to grow my
billboards.
channel. I want to,
Yeah.
have a bigger channel. I'm proud of the 200 and some odd subs that I've got. I'm very proud of that. But I want to grow it bigger. But I don't want to get in that drama mess either.
And you would
So,
do better if you stay away from it.
so I just sit over here quietly.
I mean, that's the way I see it. I mean,
So yeah,
anymore, if I go in and and it gets to being two creators arguing, I'm
right.
out.
Yeah,
See,
totally.
I'm out. I ain't sticking around for that.
Right.
For one thing, it brings your own mental health down.
It does. It does. Like I said the other day when I was listening to PG's channel and I had gone into Miss Daisy, she was live streaming or playing it, because she had been on it the night before or whatever. So she was playing it, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And I seriously, I was like, oh God, forgive me for even listening to those words.
Yeah. Now, that's another
Crazy.
thing. I mean, um, you know, you won't hear, if you hear a cuss word come out of my mouth, something's done went south. I
I
have
tend to cuss when I get frustrated, but I don't use words that were used the other night. That was in the content, and it was totally disgusting.
Yeah, I won't
It
stick
was
around where all that
no,
vulgar language is going on.
no.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
like I said, it convicts my spirit, so I'm not going to stay somewhere that brings me down
No.
like that.
Well,
Uh,
I want to hear about summer. I want to hear, what we can do. Throw out ideas, tell me something to look into or to check into or whatever.
yes,
Throw all that stuff out there. Let's work together or whatever, That's what I look for. If they bring up something, I want to look and check it all out.
yeah. I mean, just like with the Fred Hill
Yeah, the blip.
interviews,
Yeah.
when you know when he was saying that about cotton, I was
Mhm.
thinking, wait a minute. Well, then, what was the shallow grave on Fields Road?
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering at what point did Cotton tell him this? And if it's been a while, then why in the world did he wait so long to say something about it? I mean, that's the questions I have when I'm listening to these
Right.
interviews. Um, I
With
mean, it's
him making these statements and he's in jail, it just makes me wonder, is is he being as truthful as he can? Is he actually,
as he can, probably because he's on a phone in jail.
what?
Lord
Yeah.
help me.
It's kind of like, it's frustrating. And yeah, Kim Holmes says like the blip board fights. She didn't understand why. Me neither. I mean, the only thing I could say is Benny and Tiffany got the blip boards. They put them out. They're making their payments or whatever, and they're encouraging other people to do the same. And that's
And
great.
at the same time, whatever you do with your money ain't my business.
But that's the other part. I don't want anybody telling me what I got to do with my
No.
money.
Now, most people know
Yeah.
this. I mean, uh, about a half a year after Summer went missing, I got a magnetic car decal,
Yeah.
and It's a flyer, missing flyer. Put it on my husband's truck. He is a moving billboard.
Yeah, he's a driving billboard.
And I mean, you never know who is going to get beside that vehicle
Right.
and see it.
Yeah.
People, it costs a little nothing to have it made. If you
Right.
want to know where your money's going, do
Yeah.
it. I mean, go right to the place. If you're
Right.
going to worry about the money that you spend, then go on places like Build a Sign or go directly to Blip or whatever you have to do that you know where your money is going. If you're going to
Yeah.
worry about it. But now, if you ain't worried about it, then and you trust that it's going to where it's supposed to be, then it's not Crystal's business.
Right. Yeah, I agree. If that's what you want to do, that's great. Fine. You know, I'm all for whatever it is you choose to do. Nunya says, Nunya Beeswax says, why does no one talk about the police call the day two kids on the side of the road um, broke down or next to broke truck? I'm sure it's key. I I think, okay, y'all help me remember, who was it that was driving and saw those kids? I forget
I,
their names. I don't know. There's been creators talk about that. There has been.
Now, is this the same broke down vehicle that Dawn took a picture of or is in a picture of that was, I don't know, a couple of days after she went missing?
It was, no, you know what? Maybe I'm thinking about that, Crystal, because it was a couple of days after she came up missing and the two kids were running out in the road and they called the cops on that. Okay, now I'm going to do some digging into that. I want to check on and see about the one with the broke down truck and everything. So I will check on that. We'll do some checking on that and see. That's what we need. We need stuff like that thrown out there so we can know what to look into and see. We can
And you know
the
what?
right story.
I have to say, my mind's went here too. What neighbor is not talking, not making a mock out of things? That might be the neighbor people look at.
That's what I said a while ago. There are quite a few that aren't saying a word.
I mean,
And there's that, yeah, the one on the corner that first person Don saw when he got there. I always thought it was Jody Sue. Well, it wasn't. It was the neighbor. It was
it was
Blue Roof Dawn.
Blue Roof Dawn.
Yeah.
I think the reason that
So
people
how did he know? You know?
Well, I think the reason that people latch on to like Jody Sue, Fred, Andy, is because they have come out here,
right,
and ran their mouth.
That's all we have.
I mean, Andy on one of his interviews said that he got home at 6:30. Really? Because and the police was already there.
Yeah.
Well, that they got there awful quick then.
Yeah.
Because that phone call didn't go into what time?
Well, you
6:20 something.
Yeah, it was like 6:26, I think it was. Dawn said, or somebody put, who was it that was talking? Somebody said today or yesterday, Candace drove from the police station to 110 and it took her 19 minutes. And she was questioning why did it take 45 minutes for him to get there that day. So, yeah, Sammy Sparrow says the quiet ones, grandest.
And I know when Summer first went missing, a lot of people was thinking maybe an accident happened while they were at Warriors Park and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought that too until I went down there.
Oh yeah.
And nowhere that day were they further than maybe 20 minutes from a hospital. And that's stretching it.
Yeah. You know, it's just
But now it's always bothered me. I know what I did. I went down there.
yeah.
I retraced their steps. I even parked, like giving Hunter time to be getting in the vehicle and stuff. Um,
Right. I'm gonna have to go watch that video. Guys, y'all go over there and check out her video.
and by the time I got back coming through and I mean, in the video you can see because I have my cousin zoom in on the Kentucky sign, and I
Yeah.
zoom in on the clock. It is like a little bit after 3, and
You
I'm
did the
back home.
same exact steps they did that day, and you're back in Kentucky at 3:10.
Yeah, and when I went to Ben Hill, I thought that the quickest way for me to get back to Kentucky was to go back towards Kingsport and, hit the main road.
Yeah.
But when I got to where service was, it rerouted me and took me back through Beach Creek.
Oh.
So I ended up turning around and going back through Beach Creek. And Beach Creek almost, I mean, it brings you out in Rogersville, of course. But when you
Right.
get there, you're not far from that Kentucky line.
Oh, really? Okay. That's interesting. So that's good to know.
And I would have never thought that would have been the way, because you just have to go down Beach Creek and.
Right. I want to go so bad because almost 3 years, 2.5 years we're at here. And I've seen it. I've seen pictures. I've watched videos. We've talked about it. I've seen the maps, all this stuff. And I want to see it for myself because everybody tells, it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's not as
It's
the map.
it's different. Yeah, you got to go. You got to see it for yourself. And I wanted to go so bad. And I was going to go, um, not the next day because we had tickets to go to a couple shows, but the day after that, I was going to go. I was 2 days away from going when I broke my arm.
Oh, now my thought on it was before I went, I was thinking it's a back road, not much traffic. I was wrong. Beach Creek is a rather busy road,
Really?
and like when I came from Kingsport because of course I did what they did that day. So and then you take like a left and turn on to Ben Hill Road.
Right. Okay.
And
Yeah.
then I turned around in the Wells driveway and came back out. Well, in my mind, I was thinking, well, I'll take a right and go back towards Kingsport. But like I said, when I got to where I could get signal for my GPS, it rerouted me and I had to turn back around. So when you come to the end of Ben Hill, it was actually closer to get to Kentucky just taking a left.
Wow.
And going, I mean, it's curvy as I'll get out. And it wasn't a bit. And like I said, I was driving on a road I wasn't used to. So
Right.
I know people around there were driving faster than me. I
Right.
know that Candace probably had a more direct
But
route
still,
to get
that's a
to
lot of time.
Priceless.
That's a lot of time.
And like getting to the hospital, I got turned around there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, when you add in me getting turned around so much,
Yeah.
and at Priceless, I actually went into Priceless and bought stuff. Trying to give it, about the time that they would have been in there.
Right.
Because you had Hunter saying an hour, you had Candace saying 5 minutes. Well, that's a big gap.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No one's timelines matched up. And that's just the most frustrating thing of all. And I really wish Candace would come clean with that empty time.
well, I mean, at 3:09, that last picture was supposed to be took, right? Somewhere around that time frame. Well, you got to figure At 3:10, I was back in Kentucky. That picture was supposed to have been took like 8 minutes from Summer's home,
Right.
and that's stretching it a few minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. There's a
what
lot of
did they
empty
do?
time.
What did they do from the time they picked that
Right.
prescription back up?
Yeah.
Because I've also heard since then and I wanted to go back and redo the drive again. I've heard the dollar store story. I've heard a
I
second,
agree, Kim.
well, an actual third uh, backer store. Now, I don't really understand that
Yeah.
because the hippie house and discount tobacco are right there in the same parking lot. And
Right.
I can see if they had just put in, and I asked them that day how long it had been in. It is the newest hippie house that they have. The other one they said was down on Gray or something like that.
Uh,
The old one was. So if they had just put it in, I could see if I stopped at that one discount tobacco, walking over to the hippie house to see what they may have.
yeah.
But I don't see
Other than
driving.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see going our way down
I mean, they're all
the
the
road to
same.
another one.
They're all pretty much the same. Kim said, TBI won't discuss the timeline. She said, I feel there's a reason.
Oh
I
yeah,
agree. I
I do
agree.
too. They and they've got more than we do.
Uh,
I can guarantee you that.
I really think that they know a whole lot more.
The one thing that bothers me, and I've always said this too, um, probably should just get off here before my bluntness gets worse, is
You're good.
what TBI said about the redhead murders. It's always bothered me what they said about those ladies because, the Bible Belt Strangler, that's one name
Right.
that murder was called. But if you look it up on YouTube, it's the redhead murders.
Mm-hmm.
And um, all across the Bible Belt, women are being thrown out on major highways.
Right.
One of them was actually thrown out in my hometown. And I remember
Oh,
when it happened. And my mom was actually one of the first ones to start taking up money so they could have her a funeral. And she's buried in the
oh,
cemetery up here in town. But for years, she went unidentified, and her grave says unknown.
yes, sir.
Well, years later, a man that was in like a class, I'm thinking, but he went back trying to find, like details to see if they could get the identity on these women to find out who their family was. And he was successful in a lot of cases. But when he went to TBI, do you know what they said?
What?
Oh, you're talking about the throwaway ladies. Now they were calling them throwaway ladies because the women that were murdered were prostitutes.
Oh,
I don't care if you're a prostitute or what you are. You ought to get the same respect that anybody else
that's
would get.
sad.
So
Yes.
it's always bothered me that they said that about them. I'm thinking, well, how are they looking at a little poor girl's case?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think a lot's being covered up. And I worry that that good old boy system applies out there. And because of that, a lot of things are being overlooked and not checked into. And, it may be costing Summer her life.
Well, I mean, you got Summer sitting here on this hill. The neighbor is dating Don Sherfy.
Right.
Don Sherfy's son is arrested for inappropriate pictures of minor children, and that's saying it lightly.
Right.
Then you've got Ronnie Lawson, and what happens? His son is arrested for the same thing.
Yeah.
Straight across the road, you got, according to Jody, Andy, who she said go over there and ask them why he's selling drugs to the kids at 110 and Candace, causing them to be sedated and potentially touched. That's
Right.
quotes. Um, now Fred's
And
been
then you've got
arrested for meth.
you got the Crawfords right back there at the back of that property at 110's backside. And, you know, Marlena was living with them and she was strung out super bad. They were they were surrounded. That little girl was completely 100% surrounded
Yep.
with evil. But
From what we found out since this case started, if she did wander down the road, it looks like it was a slim chance that somebody that wasn't shady was the person driving by.
yeah, very slim. Yeah, very slim.
You know, people be like, well, if she did get down to the road, I mean, we heard this when she first went missing. What's the chances that somebody would be driving by at that particular moment and pick her up? And, well, it sounds like it's pretty good, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like Sammy Sparrow says right here, life is cheap to these people, you know? And it's not a worry to them. It's easy for them just to let it all go.
Now, I was trying to listen to the polygraph thing as I was driving, so I'm not sure that I heard it correctly. But did they say that uh, that while looking at another case, Brett had said something that caused them to do the polygraph over Cotton?
It said, let me see, I got it
Details
right here.
about the crime scene.
Yes. Fred displayed knowledge of details of the death scene that had not been publicly released.
Well,
He had knowledge of he has denied any knowledge or involvement in the death of the victim. So that's why they did the polygraph.
I completely agree, Sammy Sparrow. I back the blue too. I hope that they
Yeah,
close it in, and
I believe there are good law enforcement and there's bad law enforcement, and that's anywhere you look.
that's because they're human.
Yeah,
And there's good humans and there's bad humans.
yeah, yeah. And Kim said, Jody sees text the next day. Maybe this will make them move.
She was griping about people looking for Summer.
She wanted to live on 110. She wanted property that was hers and not that Andy's family could take away from her. So, I don't know. I encourage everybody to don't be discouraged. Just keep looking.
Yeah.
Just keep thinking about everything you've heard. Take notes. And the kids on the side of the road, days before, was there days before and days after? I'm going to look into that because that's good, something good to know. So,
But now it does bring to question, why in the world, when a kid first goes missing, would somebody say that they were loved and well took care of and missed in the community, and then wait 2 years to say that they were being abused and around drugs and took to?
oh yeah,
I mean,
she talked about having alcohol in the sippy cup. There's
but
liquor in the sippy cup.
But now, literally the day after Summer went missing, she did a Facebook Live from her vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, well, she said a lot in that Facebook Live that wasn't true,
She said,
evidently.
yeah,
But
she has
she
said a lot.
said, contrary to what people believe,
Right.
Summer was loved and she was well taken care of. And we miss her. I miss her little giggles from my hill, from her hill.
Yeah.
And she also said we was out there before law looking before law enforcement was called, but then
Yeah.
Then on Rap's channel, she said it was after. So which is
Yeah,
it?
exactly. You know, she said in one of her lives that the night before Summer come up missing, they went looking for Jackie Dobbs in Summer down at their old property where the dug up grave was supposedly at. So,
You know something, Kim? What bothers me? She can make all the money she wants to, as well as any other creator that's on this platform. But what bothers me is she's always up there knocking what somebody else is doing for Summer.
oh yeah,
Uh, Everybody else is targeting, harassing, bullying, making money off of Summer's name, but yet she's still got that cash out rolling.
she
And
does.
I've yet to see her put a legitimate, just a picture saying this is Summer Wells. She went missing on June the 15th, 2021. She has blue hair, blonde hair. I mean, blue eyes, blonde hair. You
Yeah.
know, I've yet to see her put that out. But now she will
No.
go to Candace's Facebook and put on her community posts stuff that's going to fit her narrative.
Right. She does that. She does. And that's why I pay attention to her a lot because some of the things she says, it just rubs me raw. And it's like the getting in the creek. Why are you going to do that before you find out she's missing? Those kind of
Why are
things.
you walking to the end of your? I know she had a rutted driveway, okay, but she also had a video on her Facebook of her and Andy driving up it. So if you're that
Yeah.
sick, why are you walking to the end of that driveway? Was that common?
Exactly.
How many times did you do that, Jody says? Was that an
Exactly.
everyday? Was that 3 times a week?
Yeah.
Or was it just June the 15th?
Oh, she is all about the targeted, traumatized, stalked. Yes.
And you know what? If I was giving her a challenge, it would be this. If you want to do a 5 hour live, fine. Do one on Summer. Talking about Summer. Let us know a little something about her. But do it
Okay.
without mentioning your abuse.
Oh, that's all she's about. You
Do
know,
it
and
without
it's like
mentioning Monster.
she's still talking about Monster. She's still talking about her child being traumatized and everything. And she mentioned her Christmas wish list or whatever. And then I heard a little thing where Benny said, no child is going to, or no 15-year old, however old she is going to ask for 3 pairs of inline skates, 3 or 4 pairs. I forget what it was, but yeah, that's all on there. It's like, why does she have a Christmas wish list up there or whatever? I don't know.
I guess
I don't
because it
get
worked
it.
last year.
Yeah, I don't get it. She can. There you go, Sammy. She can dish out the trash talk. She can't take it back on her. Yeah, that's it.
And you know, I remember her doing an interview with somebody when she was talking about Fred, and she was talking about him giving the wrong name or something to one of her kids, and she said that was just his way of protecting them.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know Andy and Fred are kin, but how good
Mhm.
of friends are they? And I'll tell you this, if you've got that many drug dealers in one area, they're competing.
They are. They gotta be. They gotta be. You know, I just don't. I'm not big in the drug world, so I don't understand a lot of the process or whatever, like with the making meth or whatever. I did hear somebody say that sometimes they make it for themselves because it's cheaper to make it than it is to go and buy it from somebody.
I couldn't tell you what stuff looks like. I
So
I,
yeah, I don't
I know
know.
nothing about the I know nothing about it, but I know you. They
Yeah,
if you count the people that's been busted for drugs,
right.
right there on Ben Hill,
There's a ton.
and the people that's been accused, it looks like there was a triangle of it.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of them, and I'm sure it's not all. That's not all that does that out there. I'm sure. I know this little girl has brought out a ton of stuff. you know, a lot of attention's been drawn to that area. And maybe it'll clean up somewhere along the lines. Maybe it won't just keep that generational curse going, and maybe it'll get broken some.
I
And
agree, Sammy. And
so,
what's sad though is they're playing their games on a little girl's life.
yeah, they are. And that's the part that I just hate the most. I hate it. It's not cool.
But you know what? Summer's missing to us. She's not been missing one day to God.
Yeah.
And God knows what all went on. If they don't pay for it on earth, they will be judged for it. And I
They will.
wouldn't stand in their shoes for their socks.
Yep. Yep. They will pay for it. All of them. They will all pay for it.
And that's right, Kim. God don't like ugly. And he don't like to be used as a spare tire either.
Right.
You won't pick him up just when you need him or when uh you're in a rut and then throw him down like a loose noodle either.
Right.
You won't stand on a panel and be cussing people for everything they're worth if you got the good Lord inside of you.
Exactly.
Because he ain't no part of that. You know
Right.
what the Bible says? You better forgive them if you want to be forgiven. I'm
Yeah.
paraphrasing, but that's what it's, I mean,
And that is a hard thing to do sometimes, you know?
yes. And then they said, how many times shall we forgive our brother? And like I said,
Yep.
I'm paraphrasing because I ain't got my Bible in my lap. And
Yeah.
they said 7 times, and he said 7 times 70.
That's right. You have to forgive to be forgiven. And that's a
And
hard thing.
he says vengeance is his.
That's right.
He says get angry, but sin not. Now, he does not nowhere in that Bible tell you to slander, cuss, and make a mock of people. He
Yep.
don't.
I agree, Sammy. Sammy says, I just hope Ellie's net will be wide.
Yes.
I think it's going to have to be wide. I hope they realize, and I think they know they got a good idea. I hope. I'm just
I
ready
tell you the
for
one
that
thing.
day.
If there's one thing that makes me think that Summer could have been took, it's the fact the boys haven't said anything. And hear me out here.
Yeah,
If they had, trust me when I say that Don and Candace would be arrested by now.
I would think so.
And then you've got everybody saying the boys don't want to come back. Well, you know what? That's even more of a reason to say something.
Yeah.
You see a lot of
And
kids not say a word. And then when it comes down to reunification, that's
right.
when they talk.
Yeah, I would think that if the boys knew that they did not have to go back to their parents, if they did not have to see their parents face to face or whatever, that they would feel more just to say something. And I'm sure that's been given to them. I'm sure that's been presented to them.
And even if they are in the same home, all these kids are probably going to therapy every week.
Oh yeah.
And at that time, they're
Oh yeah.
not in the same room.
Yeah.
Don't think for 1 second that they ain't asking them little tidbits.
Oh yeah. You know they've got to be, you know. And I'm sure by now those kids are starting to feel relaxed and comfortable, and something would have been said. I would
If,
assume.
if not by the oldest one, by the youngest one.
Oh, Annabella. Yes, by the youngest one for sure. She said, I wonder what the judge took bribes for, and did it have anything to do with Summer's case? Don't know. Makes you wonder though if he did have anything, take any type of bribes on that case or whatever.
And in that case, who is he being bribed by?
Exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't think it would be Don Wells.
Right. Yeah. There's so much. There's so much. We could sit here and go all night and still have tons left to talk about. We could always find a new conversation on this case to have.
Well, the fact that there are so many people that claim they know so much but know nothing,
Right.
I'm sorry, but that dog don't hunt.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you can get on YouTube and stay on live for hours at a time talking about what you did know, then you know something. You don't act like you don't know these people.
Right.
You
Yeah.
talking more about your neighbors
Mm-hmm.
than I could sit on live and tell about my own husband.
Right. Oh Lord, I tell you, like I always go back thinking of that part. I always go back to Jody Sue. She knew everything. She could tell from the sound of the gravel what car was being drove.
And where it stopped.
And yeah, where it stopped, who got out of the car according to the slam of the door. I'm just like, are you serious? But you can't tell us one thing about the day Summer came up missing. I don't buy it.
She can tell us everything about the day that Summer come up missing. She just can't.
Yeah.
She knew everything that was happening, but she never saw Summer.
Yeah.
Right down to that scream sounded like a shape.
A shape. I think that's where she lost just about everybody. If she hadn't lost them by that point, I think that's where everybody just went off.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand talking slow. I talk a little slow myself, but never have I been sitting in my living room on the couch. And trust me, I live where the blacktop ends and the road begins. So when they come off that blacktop onto that gravel road, you hear it. And never have I sat here and said, "Oh my goodness, that sounds like a circle."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she's something, I tell you. But I don't know. Just keep listening. I really think if she gets aggravated enough and pissed off enough, she's going to say something.
You know that ain't when she talks. Yeah, with Andy she did. But if you'll notice, when she becomes not important,
Right.
she will start having word vomit like no other.
Right.
When
day she
another
actually showed-
neighbor comes out and starts talking, then she has to go live and tell about how they're crazy.
Yeah, that's what she did today. And she was just spewing it out.
Oh, did she do that today? See,
Yeah, because
been
Don
gone all
was
day.
saying that Andy was clear. He has an alibi. He's clear for that day. And Jody was the biggest nutcase he's ever known.
But you know what? The only person I've ever heard give Andy an alibi is Andy and Jody Sue.
Right?
I've never heard Ronnie Lawson say everybody is still suspect except for Andy Bernard, who was on camera all day.
Right.
Ain't never heard that.
Nope, hadn't heard that. And I'm sorry, but his boss didn't say, "Yep, 100% saw him with my own eyes. He's clear." That's not what his boss said.
Well, thank you, Sammy, because I was accused of being Jody Sue once.
No. You are good. You are way good.
I'm country, honey. Country is cornbread, but I don't get it. Now, I live in the country. Like I said, you let something go on.
Yeah.
And my mom used to say, tell a friend, tell a certain neighbor. I ain't going to mention her name on the YouTubes. And everybody will know, well, that's kind of how it goes up in here.
Yeah. Big
if
Joe's.
you can't find it on the scanner, there is that particular neighbor that you can call, and she done knows all the things. And I
Oh
got a
yeah.
feeling that Jody Sue Brown was that particular neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Oh. Well, I'm gonna get off of here, go prop my arm up, and it's starting to ache.
Well, honey, I hope you get to feeling better. I meant to
Thank
jump down a
you.
minute a way ago, but thank
Yeah,
you for having me up. And
of
let's pray
course.
for us, baby. I had to get further than any bickering that we could ever do.
Well, thank you and Annabella both for coming up. I love y'all, and it's always good when y'all come up. And I love that we can sit here and have conversations about different things in this case.
Ain't that
And
amazing?
and
We are adults and we can have different
yeah,
opinions and different thought. It just amazes me how that can work and not
yeah.
even
And we're
fight
gonna
over it.
we're gonna leave here and all still be friends and love each
Yes,
other. And
it's
it's all
called
good.
adulting. It's called
Yeah.
being an adult.
Yeah. And that's what I want you guys to hold me accountable to always. So if I ever get a little off the rails, y'all can poke me.
But I love you, honey. I'm gonna jump down.
Okay. Love you. And thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate you all being here. I enjoyed all the topics, the conversations we were having in chat. Lots of good things to look into. That's what I want this to be about. I want everybody to feel safe to where they can give their opinion and still walk away being loved. So, always, always, always welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel. Always. I love you guys. Y'all keep being who you are. Don't be discouraged. And always listen for those little words or those little phrases or sentences that might have seemed irrelevant at first, but could possibly be something that we've been missing. And if y'all ever need to get in touch with me on my About section, I got my email there. Always email me. And I love you guys. We'll be talking pretty soon, okay? Y'all have a great night. Love and hugs. Mwah. Bye.